For an entomologist like me, George Brassard, insects have a scientific, ecological, or aesthetic value. But insects sellers, on the other hand, see things very differently. For them, this caligo is a $5 bill. This morpho is a $10 bill. Your wallet may not believe this, but a very rare $300 male has just landed. And if by chance the female would show up, then it's the jackpot. A $5,000 US within the reach of your net. Our investigation starts in Iquitos, one of the great centers of the insect trade in Peru. Like many other towns in the Amazon basin, Iquitos owes its existence to the immense wealth of the natural resources around it. In 1870, the Great Rubber Boom transformed this humble Jesuit mission into a teeming metropolis of some 400,000 inhabitants. By the end of the 19th century, rich European collectors were already clamoring for the strange and wonderful insects of the Amazon rainforest. And there are still insects for sale today. Souvenir sellers will even offer them to us right in the street. Most often, they are selling very common species, intended only for tourists. But even more demanding customers can sometimes find a bargain.
Disculpa, no me gustan.
A lo mejor le interesa otro.
No me gustan. ¿Qué es?
Ese.
Incredible. Only here in Iquitos can a street dealer offer you such a spectacular insect. It's a live megasoma, one of the bulkiest insects in the world. You can buy it here for about $40 or even better. Come with me in the jungle and try to catch one. A 125 years ago, only a few eccentrics were really interested in the insect trade. Nowadays, it's a worldwide industry that supports thousands of people and generates income of several $100 million a year. But behind all this big business is the tireless work of many little independent insect collectors like Jose Ride. He has been collecting insects full-time for only 5 years now, and already he can support his entire family with this work. But rest assured, at no time does the practice of collecting insects ever threaten the survival of any insect species. I like going into the forest with Jose because he is one of the best collectors in the area. Wait till you see what we find. Today, we're on the lookout for some of the Amazon's biggest beetles, so Jose is taking me into a part of the forest where he has already found some of these spectacular creatures. Qué bueno, Qué bueno. Qué bueno.
Este es lo que se encuentra en la selva cuando se da. Se busca, se va caminando. Si se le encuentra eso.
We're off to a good start. This is one of the most beautiful insects of the Amazon, the Macrodontia. People here believe that this beetle can actually cut down branches using its huge saw-like mandibles. Of course, another legend. Macrodontia look for dead trees in which to lay their eggs. They also feed on the moss and lichen growing on the outside. The adult's size depends on how much food is available. This is an important factor for an insect collector because in the big beetle market, even an inch makes a difference. A 4-inch long Macrodontia is quite common, while one just a little over 5 inches is rare, and so twice as valuable. Jose is a very good collector because he knows the habits of the insects he collects.
Mira, mira. Esto.
Qué bien. He knows which plant is likely to attract which insect. Jose, mira.
Sí,
It
están
tightens.
contentos.
A Titanic longhorn, one of the biggest beetle in the world. And believe me or not, it's the second time only in my life that I have the chance to see one alive. And certain giant specimens of this species can reach up to 8 inches long. Just look at the massive jaws of this beast. I wouldn't suggest anyone to put his finger in there. Let's try instead with a twig. Well, I hope that little demonstration was convincing. Here we are in another part of the forest. This time, we're looking for none other than the powerful tarantula, the biggest of all the spiders. They are only active at night, which is why we have the impression they are rare. During the day, they hide out in their burrows or in the foliage of trees. In some tropical forests, you can find at least one per square yard. In these ecosystems, tarantulas are the #1 predator. Jose shows me how to handle it. He picks the insect up in his hand, squeezing its hard thorax. Even though Jose has lots of experience collecting tarantulas, he is still careful. Tarantulas are equipped with formidable venom fangs and will bite to defend themselves. Even though only a minority of species have venom powerful enough to harm a human, I still think it's better to be safe than sorry.
Sí, se viene. Ahí sale.
Sí. Wow, that's a big one. But don't worry, I have my secret weapon. Salad tongues.
Está bonito. Está grande.
More and more people are fascinated by the strange beauty of these awesome spiders, which can have an 11 inches leg span. There are over 800 species of tarantulas. Some of them are very good-tempered and are getting more and more popular as pets. The legs of some tarantulas are a beautiful blue color. This is not a different species, but a color change that sometimes occurs in males after their second or third molt. Specimens like this are obviously much more in demand by collectors since the phenomenon is fairly rare.
Y está casado.
Jose's catches are piling up. I'm anxious to find out who's going to buy all these tarantulas.
Vamos, vamos, vamos.
The next day, our tarantula collector goes to town, where he will quickly receive his reward for all that work. It was a good week. Jose collected over 100 tarantulas. Jose normally sells them for 5 soles apiece. Today, however, one customer, Luis Rodriguez, is going to buy them all for the equivalent of $1 American per tarantula. With this sale alone, Jose has made as much money in a week as a day laborer will make in a month.
La morfo.
Morpho.
Morfo.
There's always a demand for beetles and tarantula, but the most popular insects are definitely the butterfly. This makes Peruvian dealers very happy. Their country is home to 20% of all the butterfly species in the world. So, does the insect trade pose a threat to this wonderful biodiversity? All scientific studies arrive at the same conclusion. Collecting specimens has no effect on the survival of insects because of their enormous reproductive capacity. So, we don't need the same strict laws to protect them that we have for lions or elephants. And anyway, no collector could possibly catch enough butterflies to completely eliminate one species from a given area. In fact, entomologists once deliberately tried to do just that. For an entire season, they systematically collected all the adults and even picked up all the caterpillars. The next year, there were just as many butterflies. What about the rarer species? The more rare an insect is, the higher its market value. We might think then that these species are threatened by the trade. Well, personally, I simply think that there is no such thing as a rare insect. Some butterflies, like these agrias, are called rare simply because they are hard to find on the market. But in nature, they are not rare. They are just almost impossible to catch. These elusive butterflies spend almost all their time in the tree canopy, far from the eyes of entomologists and the nets of collectors. We know almost nothing about their biology or what plants their larvae eat. The females never come down from the treetops and so are even harder to observe than the male. In fact, the females of some species of agrias have never yet been seen. We do know that some of these butterflies like ripe fruit and mammal dung. A few experienced collectors are concocting their own secret recipes to attract them. So who knows, maybe the anagrias will suddenly become a lot less rare. Hundreds of butterflies will soon be flying here. Why? Because Mr. Caligari and the people living here want to set up a butterfly ranching operation. Mario Caligari is a Peruvian entomologist. His approach is simple. Instead of fighting against nature, he makes it work for him. The butterfly house is surrounded by flowering plants that will attract butterflies, which love to gather nectar. Nearby, they also put in the plants on which the females prefer to lay their eggs. Often, only one species of butterfly is attracted to a given plant, and the little caterpillars find the best conditions in which to grow. The presence of humans considerably reduces the danger of birds preying on the caterpillars. In the wild, only 1% of all eggs will hatch into adult butterflies, while here the success rate is almost 60%. The caterpillars are collected and taken into the nursery where they will be safe from other insect predators. Soon, the caterpillars stop eating and begin their metamorphosis into pupas. Each pupa will produce a magnificent butterfly that can be collected immediately before it has a chance to damage its wings. Some butterflies will be released to help maintain the local population. The co-op will sell the others to collectors or directly to the tourists who are sure to come and visit their operation.
Sí, aquí también hay un satúrnido muy interesante. Esto lo podemos reproducir.
If all goes well, butterfly ranching will motivate the people to protect their forest. And this is very important since the main threat to the survival of butterflies is habitat destruction. There are more and more butterfly conservatories in Europe and North America, and they all need a steady supply of butterflies. Gudrun Sperrer and her husband are butterfly farmers who are working to meet the demand of this new and growing market. They specialize in the production and sale of live pupas. This type of business is much more complicated than selling dead and dry specimens. Since the chrysalids are alive, they must be shipped to the purchaser before the butterflies emerge. Son bien vivos.
Qué bonito se forma, ¿no?
Oh, son increíbles, son increíbles. I am hurrying to Montreal with these pupas to participate in a wonderful event. Gracias. Sorry, I've got to catch a plane.
Bye, George.
Bye-bye. No time to waste. My butterflies are about to hatch, even though it's the middle of winter and the temperature is 30 below. This is Butterflies Go Free, organized by the Insectarium and the Montreal Botanical Garden. While exhibitions like this are found throughout the world, thanks to the help of butterfly breeders in Australia, Indonesia, Peru, and Canada. This is the type of event that reconciles us with the idea of an insect trade. These farm-raised butterflies are the best ambassadors for the world's great tropical forest. My hope is that every beat of their wings will help make us more aware of the importance of preserving the great wild species of our planet.
Go! Voilà! Une bonne main pour la